All right, good afternoon, traders. Today is June 11th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I moderate and I am the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Let's take a look at some charts today. Let's go see how I made some money today, all right? Puts worked out great. Okay, if you looked at the game plan, all right, let's take a look at the game plan. Okay, I said if I had a 10-minute uptrend, downtrend under VWAP that even originated, okay, over the pivot, I would trade it. So we had a 10-minute downtrend under VWAP right here underneath the pivot and here also. Okay, let me move this up and out of the way so you guys can see that. Pivot was, slide this over. Okay, the pivot was 601.70. Okay, 601.70. So I said if there was 10-minute downtrend under VWAP, I'd be interested in trading that. Okay, so what we got this morning, and I wrote a little note out here to traders. Okay, and I think I said it 2 or 3 notes this morning. Okay, I got right here. First note, CPI data this morning. Again, I'm expecting SPY consolidation over prior consolidation. Probably head back towards 593.50 area, 595. Okay, and that would be consolidation over consolidation. Okay, and I also wrote this is just before the market opens up. Should SPY bounce off of rising VWAP, fail to produce a higher high, I will be looking for SPY puts, 600 strike, 9 days till expiration. Okay, so I'm expecting price action to consolidate over prior consolidation. So you can see here was the overnight high. We failed to produce a higher high there. All right, but then we came back here and we bounced off of VWAP and even gave us a second chance. All right, and it failed to produce a higher high there. Okay, so there's price action giving us 2 opportunities to buy puts. I bought puts, all right, into this and then sent it down into this downtrend right here. Took some profit, reloaded, and then took some more profit. So there's my puts. Let's go ahead and see how they traded out so you can see them. And let's pull this up just for a second. Okay, you can see I bought puts, sold them, and then sold some more puts. See this dip? Sold them, reloaded them, and then as price comes down into this drop right here, I unload them right there. And then on the pullback, I'm reloading my puts again. Okay, again, I'm expecting price to come down here to 595. So I made 2,000 on those puts, some calls. Bought some calls right here on price, big candle, right into this support area, and price rallied up over, so I bought some calls. You can see I bought and sold quickly. Okay, same thing. Had some calls here, and this was a bear call credit spread. Wound up taking profit on that bear call credit spread. That wound up with $8.90 in profits, but cost me $40 to operate that bear call credit spread. Some more calls. Okay, you can see I bought the lows into this dip and rode it up, sold up into the rally. Bought the dip again, sold off into this rally, and finally got out. Okay, so there's price action for those calls right there. Made 572 on those. Here's some more puts. You can see I bought and sold puts, bought, and I'm reloading on those puts now. So looking to get reloaded for some more. Here's some at 105. Not quite low enough. I need it a little bit higher, maybe up towards VWAP. That would work. All right, we got 5 minutes left. Here's some 611 calls. You can see I bought and sold into the rally up here. Some more 605 calls. I sold and bought here. All right, those are the ones in the call spread also. 600, and then I converted them to the other ones. Got some 600 strike puts, 9 DTEs. You see a bought, sold, sold, reloaded. All right, these are for later this week. Again, I'm expecting price to come down to 595. So that was the trade today. Okay, so consolidation over prior consolidation. Let's take a peek at that. Okay, so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so price action. Let's pull it up on the. You're going to see this on the hourly chart. Okay, it's going to be a little bit better. Okay, price comes from this low and rallies up, pulls back, consolidates, and makes a higher low. So right here between this area here, 593.50, okay, and this area right through here, 584.50, okay, so or 583.50, okay, right there. So price action pulls up, pulls back down here, does some freaky action in the overnight market, comes actually up there, comes back down, but you can see the consolidation right through here. So I'm looking for the same thing, price to consolidate over the prior consolidation. Okay, we're waiting on CPI. Let me just say CPI was very good today. Okay, CPI data was released. It was awesome. I would, if I was ready for Mr. Powell, I'm sure he's ready to do a rate cut, but unfortunately, he has no certainty, just like the market has no certainty. Okay, so until we get these trade negotiations wrapped up and everybody signed off on it, and they're all gonna, abide by what their promises are or the negotiations, how they are outlined in their contracts. Okay, as soon as that happens, the market's going to have some certainty. In other words, we want to see that President Z is going to sign a contract and abide by the trade deals. Same with Europe. Same with everybody. All right, we're just waiting for certainty in the markets. So I can foresee price consolidating, okay, kind of in a $10 range up here, 605 down to 603.50, okay, in this range until we get that certainty. Obviously, Mr. Powell can't make a rate cut until he's certain that there's not going to be any tariffs that are going to disrupt his efforts to curb inflation. Okay, so I think he's waiting for that certainty. The markets are waiting for that certainty. Okay, and while we're waiting, I think price will continue to consolidate over prior consolidation, and that is a bullish environment whenever you get consolidation over prior consolidation. So that's why I can foresee price probably pulling back to 595 and then coming back up here, of course, 604, 605 area, and then probably coming back down. So I can foresee price moving like this in the near future. All right, we'll see what it wants to do. All right, but you can see, I can foresee price moves up and then moves back down, and then I'm expecting it to move up and then move back down. And I think it could take 3 days, it could take 2 weeks to do this. All right, and then do a half back, and then maybe we get some certainty under trade deals and the market rips like that. Okay, so we'll see what happens. That's what I can foresee happening. All right, we'll see what happens, okay? Or the market does a big EKG and goes all the way up like that. All right, that's what it's either half back and rise, or we do a big EKG and then we rip up higher. All right, that's what I foresee happening. All right, we'll see what happens. All right, so that's price action for today. Let's take that off. Okay, so on SPY, obviously we are closed right now. Okay, so it's 10 minutes. 10-minute chart. You got the 3 crossing the 8, says a 10. It's like a a 10-minute cross, a bullish cross right here into the close. Bullish cross on the 10-minute chart. On the 2-hour chart, what do we got? A bearish cross on the chart. Let's take a look at it on. Let's take a look at it on game plan one. All right, so let's go to game plan. Let's go to 0. Let's go to 2-hour. See if we really got a cross. Okay, so still got a bullish uptrend. All right, on SPY on the 2-hour right there. You can see that. On the 10-minute, what do we got? We have a, well, it's a little bit different. We got, it looks like a bullish cross. All right there into the close. We'll see if that really does cross or if it just pulls back to VWAP and rolls over. So there's 10-minute, 2 hours in an uptrend. Daily candle. Well, the daily candle closed over the 3 EMA. That's bullish. Closing over the trap, over the 17. Also bullish. Okay, look at it with the quad lines on there. Okay, let's take this off. And you can see price action is, let's stretch this out. Okay, it's in the, okay, let's take this down a little bit. Okay, so we got a higher low, higher high, closing over the trap. Okay, that's today's candle. Over the 17, that's bullish. Up here in quadrant 4, that's bullish. Over the uptrend line, that's bullish. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP, that's bullish. And I believe it's setting up consolidation over prior consolidation, which is also bullish. So everything is still bullish in SPY. We just might consolidate. So I pull back to 595, might be the 17 EMA right here, and then watch for price to probably return back to these highs and re-challenge those highs because it failed to make a lower low. Okay, so there's SPY on the daily chart. Okay, still in an uptrend. On the 2-day chart, have not taken out the all-time high, so we're still in a downtrend. Okay, well, I don't know, you could call that 2-day. We got a low rate. Now we didn't come through the 17. Okay, 2 days still in a downtrend because we have not taken out this high. 3 days still in a downtrend because we have not taken out this high. Weekly still in a downtrend because we have not taken out this high. Monthly never got in a downtrend, has always been in an uptrend because they failed to take out this low. So they continue with the uptrend. Okay, my favorite recipe, all right, is the stack. And I call the stack, it is a 10-minute uptrend that's inside of a 2-hour uptrend, that's inside of a daily uptrend, that's inside of weekly candles that are moving up. In other words, they're on top of green 17 balls. Okay, that's inside of monthly uptrends. Okay, so take a look at the weekly. Okay, you got green 17 balls. Okay, so we got weekly candles moving up. Okay, they just technically have not made a higher high yet. Okay, they're in a downtrend, but face it, they're moving up. Okay, so that's my favorite stack. All over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, so I want a 10-minute uptrend that's taking place inside of a 2-hour uptrend, that's taking place inside of a daily uptrend, that's taking place inside of weekly candles that are moving up. In other words, they're over the 17. That's taking place inside of a monthly uptrend. Okay, so monthly. Green candles over the green 17, moving up. Okay, all over that all-time high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line right here. Okay, all of that. That's what I call the most favorable stack. All right, so I like that. On rare occurrences, I want to play all the uptrends I can that are 10 minutes over VWAP, especially if they're not consolidating. All right, on the 10-minute chart. Okay, they could be consolidating on the hourly or the daily, but as long as I'm getting some movement, I want to see price break away from the 17. Okay, I want to see price rip away from it. So here you can see it's kind of waffling back and forth, not quite the right environment. And here, see the separation? Okay, now we get see the separation. Here's the VWAP over here. Now the price candles come all the way down to here. Okay, that's what I'm looking. This is where opportunity is. when you see that 17, peel away from that VWAP area. If it's hanging out up here, it's not the best. All right. I like it when it peels away from VWAP right there. So there's SPY on the 10-minute chart. Okay. Again, I'm expecting price to probably pull back to this area here, 595, 593.50. All right. Pull back to here, kind of test this low. All right. Fill this gap, test this low, and then fail to make a lower low. So probably or a significant lower low. And then probably rip back up to take a test those highs to see if they're going to hold. Okay, so there we are with the 10-minute chart. Got the 2-hour chart. We're bullish. We're in an uptrend because we're still making higher lows and higher highs. Okay, price action you can see right here on the daily. Okay, here's a higher low. There's a low. There's a higher low, and we're making higher highs. See, there's a high. We made a higher high. Okay, so we're making, that's an uptrend. We're up there in quadrant 4. That's bullish. Take a look at QQQ. And we can look at it over here. QQQ, higher low, higher high, closing over the bullish trap, over the 17, over the uptrend line, up in quadrant 4, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, making higher lows and higher highs. That's bullish. Okay, that's in an uptrend. Here is the all-time high. We are, think about it, we are dangerously close to tackling that all-time high right there. We are right there right now. All we needed is some certainty from the markets. So there's QQQ. Let's take a look at FNGB. All right. Here's price action, higher low, higher high, closing over the trap, over the 17, up in quadrant 4, over the uptrend line, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, up in quadrant 4. All of that is bullish, making higher lows and higher highs. That's an uptrend. That's bullish up there, quadrant 4. Okay, let's take a look at IWM. All right, IWM, a little bit different. Just a little bit. Outside day, okay, that's higher high, lower low, but closing over the trap. That's bullish. Over the 17. That's the green dots. That's bullish. See, over this all-time high anchored VWAP, that's this pink line. Okay, that's bullish. Over this uptrend line, that's bullish. Over the midpoint, that's bullish. Okay, all of that is bullish. Moving up, holding the higher ground, and now breaking out. That's bullish. If they can jump into the upper third, they will have a nice bullish chart. Right now, they're just kind of neutral, okay, because they went down and they gave it up. So that makes them neutral. Went down and give it up. Same thing, you go up and you give it up. That makes you neutral. All right? You go down and you give it up. That's neutral. All right? So they're just neutral. They're not in the upper third. They're not in the lower third. Okay? There's IWM. Diamond Dow. Diamond Dow got a higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap. That's bullish. Closing over a rising 17. That's bullish. Closing over uptrend line 1. All right? That's bullish. Closing over downtrend line 2. That's bullish. Closing over the pink line. That's the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. Okay? Up here in the upper third, that's bullish. Making higher lows and higher highs, also bullish. Okay? Look at this. All the indexes are bullish except for IWM, which is neutral. But everybody else is bullish. Okay? That's fantastic. We're ready to go right now. We're just waiting for them to turn the light green. All right? So we can go. We are bullish. All right? So those 10-minute uptrends are going to work. All right? You're going to have more winning 10-minute uptrends than you do winning 10-minute downtrends. 10-minute downtrends, yeah. Okay? So they're more likely to work. They're more likely to last longer. They're more likely to go further, okay? Those 10-minute uptrends in this bullish environment. That's why I like that bullish stack. 10-minute uptrend over VWAP inside the 2-hour uptrend, inside the daily uptrend, inside the weekly candles that are moving up, inside the monthly uptrend, all of that over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, this is a rare environment. Take advantage of it while you can. This is very good stuff here. We could get going, and we could get going hyperbolic to the upside. Okay, so there's daily chart of Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at some technicals. All right, for the technicals for today, today's the 11th. Okay, we started out down here. We went up here and visited the overbought, the bears in the overbought zone. They tossed us out. You know, we had some coffee, went back, tried it again, see if they put on a new disguise, see if they let us in. They said no, and we came back to the buy zone. Spent most of the rest of the day inside of the buy zone, as you can see, selling off into the afternoon. T2123, okay? Look at this. This is amazing. Look at this. Bullish gap up, not filled by the bears. Look at this. Bullish gap up, not filled by the bears. Look at this. Bullish gap up, not filled by the bears. I'm going to tell you guys, anytime you see bullish gap up, not filled by the bears, that's a bullish environment. Anytime. Doesn't matter if it's T2123, SPY, QQQ, FNGB, all right, any of them. Okay, you see this? That is a bullish environment. Look for those 10-minute uptrends. Okay, again, another bullish gap up. Okay, not filled by the bears. Another bullish gap up, not filled by the bears. I mean, they're everywhere. Bullish gap up, not filled by the bears. Here's another one. There's another one. There's another one. I mean, this is crazy. Okay, that's a bullish environment. On top of that, look at this. New rally high. This is, I'm going to call it the rally. New rally high today. New rally high made yesterday. Okay, new rally high made the day before. New rally high made the day before that. 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 New rally high made the day before. It just goes on and on. Okay, we're up over the 200 SMA. That's bullish. Okay, anytime you're making new rally highs, that's bullish. All right, look for those 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. Likely to work out. Okay, we're up over a prior all-time high right here. Up over a rising 200 SMA. That's bullish. We're making higher lows. Huge bullish gap there. I mean, we can do 3 subways running through there. Okay, side by side. All right, so T2123, 15-minute chart, uptrend. Look at price action. Moves up. Okay, just examine the price action. Moves up. Okay, holds the higher ground. Okay, and then they break out to the upside. Okay, T2123, that's bullish. Anytime price moves up, holds that higher ground, that's bullish. Okay, that's bullish. All right, same chart on a different time frame. Okay. Okay. Again, it's the same thing. Move up, hold the higher ground. Okay. Again, breakout up over this falling 200 SMA. Now it's starting to hook. Okay, that's bullish. Up over the prior all-time high. That's bullish. We got a high right here. Okay, you can see we're making higher highs up here. That's bullish. All right. Again, moving up, holding those higher ground, have those bullish gaps aren't getting filled by bears. That's bullish. 3 more green candle bars again today. Okay, price looking good. Let's take a look at the daily chart. All right. Okay, daily chart still technically in a downtrend. Hey, but let's face it, price is not moving down, it's moving up. Okay, technically it's in a downtrend only because we have yet to make a higher high. Okay, here's the first high that needs to be taken out right there. Yet to make that higher high. It's coming close. Okay, again, we're approaching this on a second prior all-time high and a flat 200 SMA up here. Okay, if we can get on top of that, that's bullish. Again, price action doing the same thing as I said earlier, moving up, holding that higher ground, now breaking out. That's bullish. All right, All of that is bullish. This is the daily chart. Okay, you can see the daily chart. We've got a downtrend, all right? And all I'm doing is stringing together the tops, okay? So here's the top, and then there's the top. So I'm just going to string together the tops, and you can see, hey, look at this, okay? Price is broken the downtrend right there, okay? That's bullish, okay, when price breaks the downtrend. So that's the daily chart, okay? Technically, haven't made a higher high yet. But look at the price action. We're still moving up, okay? We're not moving down, we're moving up. Okay, there's T2123. Let's look at FNGB on the 15-minute chart. Let me just go back and change this so it's where I need it when I come back tomorrow. Okay, buying, okay? Okay, buying from the beginning of the day. And then looks like they decide to call it an early afternoon, and looking like a 10 martini afternoon right there. Okay, so buying for the first part of the day, and then they're giving it all back second part of the day. But we're still up on top of this rising 200 SMA. That's bullish. Again, price is holding the higher ground. Okay. See price move up and then hold this higher ground up here. That's bullish. That's a bull flag. Okay, you linger too long up here in this bull flag, you're likely to see a breakout to the upside. Okay, price is looking good here. Okay, you can see price action on FNGB. Getting a little rally into the close here. What's going on? I guess Oracle's reporting. Price over all-time high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. Over the uptrend line, also bullish. Okay, everything looking good. Making higher lows, making higher highs. That's an uptrend. That's also bullish. Let's take a look at a few sectors. First sector we'll look at XLE. XLE is getting some love finally. All right, XLE in an uptrend. Got a higher low, about to probably make a higher high. No cigar yet, but that's really close, okay? That's really close. Not quite a higher high yet, but let me just say, it's a nice challenge, I'll tell you that. Okay, price action is in an uptrend, finally moving up after 14 days of relaxation and eating spinach. Finally, they're going to make a move, all right? These last 4 days. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now they're making a move. This is XLE, the energy sector. Okay, they were down here in the lower third. Back out. Okay, down here in the lower third, that's bearish. This is quadrant 1. This is quadrant 2. Down here in the lower third, that's bearish. Now they're up here. They're neutral. Okay, they're up over downtrend line 1. Still caught under downtrend line 2. All right, price action still underneath. All-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, so that's not so good there. So just kind of neutral. Again, you go down and you give it up. That's neutral. All right, so that's XLE. Fine, and in an uptrend. Okay, closing over a bullish trap. That's bullish. Over the 17, also bullish. Over a downtrend line, also bullish. Okay, XLE starting to wake up. Okay, like to see it up on top of this all-time high anchored VWAP. I actually like to see it take out that high. Okay, that's a tall order. Okay, I'll take what I can get right now. If we can just make another higher high and challenge this all-time high anchored VWAP, I think I'd be happy with that. To get up on top of downtrend line 2 and challenge the all-time high anchored VWAP, that would be nice. We'll see. I don't want to get too pushy. All right, if they can just move up and hold the higher ground, that would be nice also. Okay, it's XLE. Let's take a look at USO. Nice candle on USO. Look at that. Higher low, higher high. That's an uptrend. Okay, not in the lower third, so it's not bearish. Not in the upper third, so it's not bullish. So just kind of neutral still through here. Nice bullish candle. I hope that's not an exhaustion candle. All right. Price action over the trap, that's bullish. Over the rising 17, bullish. making a big stab into this downtrend line. That's closing over the downtrend line. That's bullish. Over the all-time high, over the 3-year high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. Okay, everything looking good here. Just not in the bullish zone yet. Still neutral through here. Okay, nice work. And in an uptrend. Higher lows, higher highs. Take a look at UNG. That's going to help out the XLE, and I can see that's where the XLE is getting some help right now. Okay, UNG, not helping out at all. Okay, got a lower high and a lower low, closing under a trap. That's bearish. Under the 17, that's bearish. Underneath 12-month high anchored VWAP, that's bearish. Over this ridiculously low uptrend line, okay, that's neutral. Right, in the lower third, that's bearish. Under downtrend line 1, that's bearish. Okay, so they're bearish still in a downtrend, still have not made a higher high, still in a downtrend, still in the lower third, everything's still bearish. Okay, this will be the, let's see, they got 3 tests there, 1 test there, that's 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the 8th test of this weak uptrend line. All right, let's see if they can hold. All right, again this time. So UNG in a downtrend, showing a head and shoulders pattern. Got the head right here, right shoulder, left shoulder. Okay, question is, will the right arm extend down to where the left arm left off down here? Okay, we'll see what happens. Okay, there's UNG. Let's take a look at GLD. Gold is bullish. It's up in quadrant 4. That's bullish. It's in an uptrend because it's making, there's a high. It made a higher high. So higher low, excuse me, higher high. That's bullish. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP, bullish. Okay, over the bullish trap, bullish. Over the rising flat 17, bullish. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP, bullish. Quadrant 4. Look at price, move up to quadrant 4, hold the higher ground. That's bullish. Okay, up over this daily uptrend line. All right, this is all bullish up here, gold, and in an uptrend. Okay, everything looking good. Look at this move up and hold the higher ground. That's all bullish. SLV made new 12-year highs 2 days ago. Today, making a lower high and a lower low, closing inside a bullish trap. That's bullish. Over the 17, bullish. Over the 12-year high anchored VWAP, that's the pink line, that's bullish. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP, that's bullish. Up here in quadrant 4 is bullish. Making higher lows and higher highs is an uptrend. All right, and up at quadrant 4, that's bullish. Okay, new 12 years highs is bullish. Okay, uptrend. Silver and gold, both bullish. SMH. SMH digs out a higher low and a higher high over a trap over the 17 up in quadrant 4. That's bullish. See that? Moving up, hold the higher ground, and then break out into quadrant 4. That's bullish. Closing candles up there. Closing candles up over all of this consolidation is huge. In other words, breaking this major resistance is huge. All of this and closing up there, that's huge up there. SMH. This is major resistance, all of this consolidation. All right? And SMH just broke through major resistance. Can they hold? That's the question. This is looking good. SMH is showing a strong market in the semiconductor space. Okay? Up over this all-time high anchored VWAP. Look at price move up, hold a higher ground, then bust out a new high. Well, a new rally high. Okay, I'm just going to call it a rally high right there. XLK. How close did we come? No cigar yet. Really, 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 really close. 242.43. 243.14. Okay, that was close. 70 cents away, I think. About 70 cents. That's bullish. Okay, attacking the all-time highs is bullish. Okay, uptrend, moving up, hold the higher ground. Quadrant 4, bullish, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, over the uptrend line. I mean, you can see we're 70 cents away from the all-time high. How can you not be bullish when you're 70 cents away from all-time high? Okay, XLF. Don't need to waste any more time on that. Okay, moving up, holding the higher ground, quadrant 4, that's bullish. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP, pink line, that's bullish. Okay, closing up here, over the bullish trap is bullish, over the 17, bullish. Look at this move up and hold the higher ground. Look how they just, instead of moving up and giving it up, we've seen this all the time, go up and then they give it up. Okay, well, look at this, they go down and then they give it up. Okay, not this time, look, they're up and they stuck it right up there. They're holding it up there like a proud, like really looking good. Okay, that's looking good up there. XLF, let's take a look at IYT and we'll call it a day. IYT. Not quite the candle I was looking for, but it's still bullish. Higher low, lower high, closing outside day. Closing inside the bullish trap. Not too bad, that's bullish. Over the 17, over the uptrend line. You know, coming back down underneath, closing underneath this all-time high anchored VWAP. I'll just call that neutral. They're close to getting in the upper third. Just not enough mustard or spinach yet. Maybe they need another week of some Popeye spinach. Just not quite there yet, okay? But looking really good. At least they're holding the higher ground, and they're not back down here or down here. So that's bullish up there. Well, actually, that's just neutral at this time. If they can get up over this consolidation, again, consolidation over prior consolidation is bullish. Okay, and you can see here, consolidation under prior consolidation is bearish. But you see they couldn't get a breakdown. A failed breakdown produced a new a retest of the highs. And hence, that's where we are, retesting those highs. I don't like that candle, though. I'm not a big fan of that candle. All right? It is what it is. I can't change it. That's the data. All right? So there's IYT. We might not be ready yet. Okay? Again, we need certainty from the administration. All right? If we could get that, I think Mr. Powell can make a decision. I think the markets can make a decision. I think there's a lot of room to the upside if we could get some certainty. Still waiting on it. All right? And that's what happens sometimes. Policy holds up price action. Okay? You're going to experience it. This is going to be your business for the rest of your life. Okay? You're going to experience this over and over. You're going to see policy hold up price action. All right, that's it for me for today. I'll see you all tomorrow. Okay, 8 o'clock. Thank you. Got some traders made some daily goals today. Congratulations. Alan. I hope I don't miss anybody. Please forgive me if I do. Mel. Somebody else. I know somebody else did it. It was Alan, Mel, and Alan, Mel, and I had that. I think Eric got some. Brad, yep, can't forget Brad. Thomas, that's who. Alan, Brad, Mel, and Thomas all shared their daily goals with me. Let me just say, you share your daily goal with me, that makes me happy. All right, it means what I'm teaching is working. All right, I love that. It's a nice trading today. All right, way to go. All right. Oh, on the charts. Oh, let me just pull up. Let's just do this one more thing before I take off. One more thing. Hey, John, what criteria is to pick out the anchor point for the anchor VWAP? And Alpha wants me to look at SMCI. All right. I'm gonna be a little bit selfish. I'm gonna go look at my thing first, and then we're gonna go look at SMCI. And this is what I print out in the morning. All right, it kind of summarizes what happened yesterday. Okay, but then this there's a few of these that I put a little star next to. And what that means is they're like in a grinder box ready for a nice breakout. Okay? I mean, like, they're like all juiced up, like the fuel is in the tank. All right? They're sitting in the cockpit. They're just waiting for mission control to give them the thumbs up so they can hit the button, the launch button. All right? So let's just go look at a few of these today. Okay? Okay, you see it was SMR, and teed up. I'm going to call it teed up. Tee it up. All right? So let's go take a look at those. Daily chart. Okay? Teed up. All right? Broke out a little bit yesterday. Still in that grinder box, grinding away at overhead supply. That's teed up. Okay? We got some room before we get to that high, 904. So a little bit more room here left on teed up. Okay? There's a nice one right there, teed up. Let's take a look at EYE. All right, EYE, little. I don't like the wick. I like it when they hold the higher ground up there. But another grinder box. Okay? Okay, this would be the candle before. There's your launch. Getting that launch sequence right there. Okay? There's EYE. What was the other one? SMR. Look at that. There's a nice one. 34 to 41 today. Okay. Okay, we'll call it 35. Okay. 35 to 41. Well, to 40. I'm just going to call it a $5. $5 move. Okay? On a $35 stock is huge. Okay? Nice little bust out. See the grinder box? Where they grind away at overhead supply and then finally make a breakout. Look at the lower. See the lower highs? There's your clue. See this? See that little itsy bitsy lower high? Or excuse me, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. I mean, there's your clue. The blast off is coming. Or the launch, Houston's going to give them the go. There's your clue. When you see that, bingo. Okay, like that. ATI was another one that was flagged out. Okay, look at this. Okay. They didn't have the blast up. Well, they did right through here. 1, 2, 3. Higher lows, and they got up to there. All right, so those were starred. And I share this. I think I share this in the room almost all the time. It's kind of cool. All right, look for those ones with the stars on them. Okay, the rest of them are all just uptrends that are tradable. Okay, ATI right there. All right, okay. He wants to look at SMCI, super microcomputer. All right, so you broke the downtrend line. That's good news. Here's the problem. You made another downtrend line. See that? Ay, ay, ay. Okay, you're challenging the second downtrend line right now. Okay, you went out and you made another downtrend line. Okay, so you're challenging the second downtrend right now. Right there. Okay, so if they can break through this, break the rubber band candle and hold this area, that's looking good. Okay, just got to break that downtrend line. All right, I do like the higher lows. I don't like that they don't consolidate up at the top. I mean, they always, why do they always have to pull back to support to consolidate? Okay, it's not bad. You got higher lows. I want to see some higher highs. I think you get a higher high. I noticed this bullish gap got filled. All right, that's showing strength by the bears. You're still under the downtrend line. I like it when you consolidate up at the highs. You're kind of consolidating here at the lows. I know this is a popular one. I'm just not a big fan of it yet. Okay, I think you put in a handle to this cup. That's what I think. I think eventually, if you can cleanly break this downtrend, I think you have a chance. I'm just not convinced yet. Not yet. Not for me. Not yet. Okay, but I do like it. I like that consolidation over prior consolidation. That's looking good. All right, you're showing inverse head and shoulders. There's left shoulder. There's the right shoulder. This is the head. So if you break this neckline, I think you get a right arm that extends all the way up here to where the left arm left off. And that would mean a break of this area right through here. Okay, right up through there. So for me, I'm going to say I'd let it cook some more, not till it got up over this right here. Break this latitude right here at 46.07. Other than that, you stand the chance of rolling over to the downside. You're bullish with this higher low, but who's to say that they don't decapitate the head and roll over? We'll see. SMCI up over this. I like it. Okay, breaking that neckline I think is awesome. Just haven't done it yet. There's the head. There's the left shoulder. This is the right shoulder. All right, so I'm looking for this to break up over that. Okay, see this? See that wick or that candle there? And this candle here up over those two candles. Okay, it's game on up over those two candles. And you're getting a little clue. You're getting the higher lows. See the little inching out little higher lows every day. So this is looking good. All right, gotta get up over this. Get on top of that. Get on top of resistance right here, and I think you're looking good up there. Okay, so for me, just be patient. It's coming. All right. All right. As long as it doesn't make any one of these green balls red, I think you're good to go. I think it does eventually get up there. All right. So I like it, but I like it better up here. Okay. I like it, but I like it better up here. Okay. And it probably does move from 42 up to 46. That's a nice little swing trade up there. I can foresee that happening. See the low, got a little higher low, little higher low, little higher low, little higher low. I think it does make it up here. All right, and if it gets up here and holds, I think it goes even further than that. Okay, but everything's looking good. Right up over this, over that green candle was good. I think over this red candle would be good. Okay, as an entry, right over the top of that red candle, as an entry right there. You got to get up here on top of 46.07. Yeah, it's very volatile. Yeah, all right, it's very volatile. Again, you got a brand new downtrend line to break. Okay, right there. And you're in the process of breaking it right now. Look, it's just taking a month to get it done. Look, half of May. And we're getting into close to half of June. It's just taking, 21 trading days to get it done. SMCI. And John, what is the criteria for the anchoring point? Yes, Lee. Okay, I pick highs and lows. Okay, so for me, on Robert's stock right here, Robert's Alpha Dog, okay, I would choose this high. Okay, notice he's up over that all-time high anchored VWAP, and he's holding for 1, 2, lost that day, recovered 3, 4, 5 days straight right there. He's ready for a breakout. All right, right up to there, over that all-time high anchored VWAP. I like to put it on highs and I like to put it on lows. Okay, like see here's like an all-time low for 2024. So I would put one on that. Okay, and then I put one on the high, and then I put one on, well, the all-time high, way up there. Okay, so you can see if Robert gets a break of that neckline, good chance he's coming up for that all-time high anchored VWAP. All right, at 555. All right, I like to put it on. Lee, write this down. The prior day's opening candle, 10-minute opening candle. I like to put it on the day before they release CPI, the day before they release, or the hour before they release FOMC minutes or FOMC rate cuts or rate hikes, okay? It's just before something comes out and changes everything. All right, so when Trump does a tariff announcement, all right, when he put one on that said we're going to double down on China and we're going to do twice as much as what they do to us, okay? Just before he says that, I like to put it on that hourly candle or that 10-minute candle before that news came out and hit the market. Same thing when he said, oh, wait, but we're going to delay this for 90 days. Okay? So 10 minutes before that's released and the market sees it, that would be a candle to put that on. Okay? So the prior day's opening candle, a rally high and a rally low. All right? Those are great places to put anchored VWAPs. All right. So like, let's take SPY for a minute. Okay. So this is the all-time high. Okay. This is the rally low. So that deserves at least an anchored VWAP down there. Okay. You can see when they start to merge together, I take one of them off. Okay. So there's a rally high. You can see this right here was the day that the president said we're going to delay the China tariffs, and the market gapped up $20. So I like to put one on that day right there. All right, on that hourly candle there. See how price pulls back to it and then comes back up to it. Okay, so all-time high, all-time low, 2025 low, 2025 high. All right. The opening 10-minute candle on the day before and just prior to major events. All right. Today's pre-market exhaustion candle has been thinking we're going back to 5. Yes, it does. It does. I think the market, it would be normal for the market to not be ready yet to make new highs. I think it would be normal to see price consolidate, have another couple plates of spinach over the next week and a half, all right, and consolidate for another couple weeks while we wait for those negotiations to finalize. We're waiting on certainty from trade negotiations, and then we want to hear what probably Mr. Powell says. And both of them will probably cause a nice rally. Each one of them will probably cause a nice big gap up. All right, so I think when they release the finalized whatever came out of the trade negotiations, there'll be a push from that. All right, and I think when we settle down, we got all the tariffs taken care of, and then Mr. Powell can figure out when he wants to do his next rate cut. Now that he knows there's not going to be any tariffs, or this is all the tariffs we're going to have. Okay, is Powell next week? I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Let's take a look. Got a G7 summit on the 16th. Okay, interest rate decision on the 18th. All right? Interest rate decision on the 18th. And of course, at 2:30, Mr. Powell will come out and defend the decision. All right? On the 18th. All right, that's it for me today, guys. All right? Had a great day. I'll see you guys all tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Everybody have a beautiful evening. Thank you for being here.